Hello, all you science detectives out there. This is Mrs. D, your own personal science geek. And today we are going to investigate another question, something that you can wonder and then notice or observe, as we scientists say. So I have a new question for us today, and it is, why shouldn't Kleenex be flushed down the toilet? And so I've sometimes wondered about this, but then really not followed up. What are the properties that differ between toilet paper and Kleenex that renders one safe to flush and the other one not? So what I did, and in light of supply shortages and not taking our supplies for granted these days, I don't recommend that you do this at home unless you ask your parents first if it's okay. And then, of course, you don't want to waste it and do it so many times. But what I did was I took one sheet of toilet paper, and then I took a Kleenex, not infused with any oils or lotions or aloe or anything like that. And I cut it down to the same size because remember, we keep the controls in mind. And so we want same size. And I looked at them. Well, I realized that both of them were 2-ply. So what do I mean by that? If you took a look at a sheet of toilet tissue, you took a look at a Kleenex, you will find that they are doubled. So one sheet of toilet paper, right? If you're very careful and you separate the corners, you have 2. And the same with the Kleenex. You find the corner, 2. So I said, okay, let me look at each separate sheet. Toilet paper sheet, single Kleenex sheet, compare. What I can see visually looks like there's wider pores here. Almost see those pores. Compare it to the Kleenex sheet. Looks like a tighter weave. They both are somewhat translucent. They're not opaque, but they're not transparent either. And the texture is a bit different as well. The toilet paper is got a rougher, I don't want to say sandpaper, not truly sandpaper, but kind of like that, like almost more like a nail file compared to texture of the Kleenex, which is pretty smooth. So, okay, I'm going to walk us over to my cups of water. I poured 150 milliliters of water in each, and going to place the toilet paper one on the left and the Kleenex one on the right. I'm going to drop them in and then observe a little bit. So this is the H2O and the toilet sheet. This is the H2O and the Kleenex sheet. Just going to give them a little help in getting immersed in the water and start getting saturated, and just observe any really quick differences. Looks like already the one on the left is sinking a bit, and the one on the right is staying floating. It's buoyant. So I'm going to pause for 2 minutes and then come back and take a look and see if there's any change. See if either one of them starts falling apart. See if the Kleenex finally does sink to the bottom. And then we'll take it from there. So stay tuned. Okay, we're back. 2 minutes have elapsed, and I'm taking a look at these cups again. And as you can see, the one with the Kleenex is still floating on the top surface, and the one with the toilet tissue has really sunk into the bottom. I'm going to just agitate the water a little bit and see if there's a difference in the behavior of both types of tissue. Okay, I'll start with the Kleenex, and just to also remind you, there's a control in place. So same types of cup, same sizes, same volumes of water, and same room temperatures of the water. The only thing differing is the type of tissue. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of just hit that one a little bit, maybe try to make it sink, see how it responds. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with the toilet tissue. So right now the Kleenex looks like it's staying pretty much the same in one piece. It's just kind of like stuck on the bottom. I'm going to see if it behaves in the next couple minutes, how that evolves. And I'm going to also agitate and pierce this one a little bit. Okay, so the toilet tissue one has really kind of folded up a bit, right? And I see some tears in it. I'm going to put that back. Whereas, just to give you a bit of a view here sideways, hey, this cloth Kleenex seems to still be whole. Okay, so I'm going to pause again for 2 minutes, and we're going to see what happens to both of them when we return. And here I am back again, resuming my observations. It's now been about 3 minutes since I last saw you, and we paused. If you take a look again now, okay, toilet tissue still at the bottom of the cup, right? Take a look at the one with the Kleenex in it. Even though I pushed it down to the bottom, it seems to gradually be kind of inflating a little bit, at like a hot air balloon maybe, and kind of finding its way back up to the surface, interestingly enough. I wanted to show you something also while we sit here observing these for a minute. I tried this experiment last week, and using a sheet of toilet tissue, the single ply, and one sheet of Kleenex from a different box that was Kleenex, but it had aloe and lotion that was infused in it. And this is almost a week later, and look at this. Okay, that tissue still wants to float at the top. It still has not taken on enough water and integrated enough water that would give it enough weight to go down to the bottom. So I thought this maybe had something to do with the oil, since we know how, oil and water don't mix. And so I thought, oh, that's another variable. So I really have to get Kleenex and test it with a Kleenex that doesn't have the lotion in it. So that's what I'm doing today. So we're gonna pause again for 30 more seconds, and I'll be right back to see if anything else changes with this. 2 minutes passed. Just going to give this a little agitation and see if it crumbles. As you can see, the one on the right is still more buoyant. Okay, so now you can see here the toilet tissue kind of crumbled. Okay, here's this one. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Managing to push it down to the bottom, but I don't know if you can see this, but I'm giving it a decent amount of force, and it's still not crumbling. I will take a picture of it in the morning and see if it moves up to the surface of the water again. Okay, Mrs. D here, signing out. I will talk to you soon on Google Classroom. I want you to wonder why to yourself this is the better bet for the toilet versus this one. Why is that flotation property something that is affecting the nature of this Kleenex so that it would be bad for plumbing? Why do you think? And we will discuss this as a question on Google Classroom tomorrow. See ya.